Yay! We're finally live. I tried going live earlier and it wasn't working. Anyway, we're on. Hi, soul being absolutely beautiful every time. How's it going? How are you today? So today we're gonna do a little cute video on um the mind, the relationship between your heart and your mind, right? Because there's a lot of information out there, a lot of gurus, a lot of people who have power, who know how to position themselves as somebody who knows better than you, somebody um who is influenced because they just have likes and more followers, and it's easy for you to doubt your own internal knowing gnosis and abandoning it for other people's gnosis, because yeah, the desire to belong is so real, right? And we want to be part of something amazing. We want to be part of, we don't want to be left behind, and I completely understand that. But I want you to do it in a conscious manner. The reason why I created Mental Alchemy Academy was to offer my soul tribe tools to be able um, to pivot from things they're realizing that actually I don't want to do this, right? I went through a lot of level up groups where everybody was like, oh, this is the right way, this is how you do it. It was around women who, most of them were not even aware that they were projecting their own limiting beliefs, their own insecurities, their own trauma from their bloodline, their own curses. And as someone who was still waking up, I just took everything because I just wanted to do, I was like, well, it worked for you, it has to work for me. And when it didn't work for me, I bit myself up, through it. And I put myself in situations that I shouldn't have let myself. If I had really listened to my intuition always knew my heart, right? My heart is always communicating. It's always telling me like, hey, this is where you need to be. But because of the mind is always right, and we always put other people on a pedestal. And because we have this will to get what we want, even when it's not good for us, we are like, whatever it takes, we gotta go here. So I want to give you a couple of tools to help you really decipher what is your inner voice and which one is the voice of your from conditioning. And this is something we go even deeper into in Miracle Activator. You can find more information below the currently enrolling link. So when you have a deep desire to have something that somebody else has, you really want to ask yourself, right? And there are a couple more videos. I'll link it below after I finish this live. That will help you really to pay attention, to bring more, to pivot from the external world to the internal world, because this is all about mastering your internal world, mastering your gnosis, mastering self knowledge. Because when you do not know who you really are and how you operate, and your weaknesses and strengths are not, you're not comfortable with your weaknesses, you're never going to be able to master yourself. So all those parts of yourself that are not pretty, you get to create a safe space for them first. That's the most important step. That's the foundation. Because when you do not know yourself, you have no resources to work with. There's nothing to work with. So you want to pay attention to your fears, um, the gaps that you're creating. We're always creating gaps, right? Depending on the narrative that we have, depending on the narrative we've internalized from other people. What gaps are you creating between you and your desire right here, right now? What story are you creating? So you want to pay attention to that. The third one is you want to pay attention to where your energy is going, where you're investing your energy. We're always investing energy, no matter what, right? And you're investing your energy in either or of the four bodies: the mental body, the physical body, the spiritual body, or the emotional body. So I want you to pay attention to all those four bodies, like where in your where are you investing that energy? And this is something I help you with too, in my private spaces. But it's all about coming to stillness. It's all about coming into stillness and really being present with yourself and not being afraid of what you're seeing. Because when you're afraid of what you're seeing, you're creating resistance to actually going through, right? Because you want to go through. We don't transform from rejecting ourselves, from sourcing, from going outside of ourselves. We actually go through this door, through our most authentic self, actually creating a safe space, being the safest safe space. I talk a lot about this on my channel, being the safest safe space, because once you do that, all that information that wants to be utilized to help you transform into your inner giant, into the person you need to be to attract what you really desire, it will feel safe to be revealed to you because it knows that you're not going to shame and judge it. And even if you shame and judge it, are you going to create safe space for those parts? All of you, all of you, all parts of you. Because if you're judging the part of you that's rejecting aspects of yourself, you see, you're creating an internal wall, you're creating internal chaos. So you want to make all parts of you that are within you safe. How do you do that? You pay attention. You stop making the external world the main character and you make yourself the main character, because the internal voices, right, all the narrative, the drama that you're playing out in your mind, like projecting, like, oh, people from my past are probably perceive me this way, they're probably still thinking of me this way, they're probably judging me, how I spoke, how I did that mistake, and they have that screenshot and they're playing it over and over and over again. That is not the external world. That is a part of you that is projecting your fears, your worst fears. It has nothing to do with them, because this is all you. This is all an internal interpretation of your past self and of where you are and of where you desire to be, right? So you're creating, this is where that gap again between who you are being and your dream self is being created from. So you want to bring all your energy from the external world and take responsibility for what you're creating, for where you're creating from. So you want to bring more attention to that root. And when you do that, you want to, once you focus on that root, you really want to pay attention to the actions you take from that root, right? So you want to pay attention to the patterns that that are created from that emotional state of being, from that mental state of being. Because once you bring attention to that, you already know, you can already project like, oh, okay, when this is happening, it's because I'm feeling this way. So it becomes easier to actually pivot from this negative emotional state of being that is distracting you from actually seeing the truth, right? So yeah, the truth is that right now you're insecure. Right now, you feel less than because you don't have that dream car, you don't have that dream man, you feel undesirable and not good enough because you don't have all these men pursuing you, right? That's the truth of your ego, of your wounded ego, right? But we are creating from our soul, because from our soul, this is where our God-given throne is. And if you don't know what your God-given throne is, I have a lot of videos that explain that. Go through all my videos on my channel. But when you come from your God-given throne, this is where you access your limitless self. This is where you start actually being a co-creator of life, right? A co-creator with life. You're not being a victim to it. You're taking responsibility for the actions you took. Yes, they were conditioned into you. Yes, they were influenced by others. Yes, right? But you are the person who operates this body, these four bodies. Because if you put the world as the operant, you'll always be a victim, you'll always be enslaved by them. And we want to prevent that. We want to prevent ourselves from giving away our power So you want to take back your power and really take full responsibility for what you're choosing, what choices you're making that are creating these stories that you're operating from. Because from there, it's easier for you to draw back in your your energy from the dead branches, the branches that you do not want to speak life into, that you don't want to nurture anymore, and actually start new branches, right? So we're coming from the root, right? We're like, oh, I feel insecure. This is what's going on. But is it true? No. And you go deeper into the roots and really explore, like, where did this come from? What was the first source of this, right? And then you upgrade your energetic boundary, because we internalized a lot of things from our childhood, right? And we took it as we took it as the only truth. So you want to go back in time and upgrade your energetic boundaries so that you're not taking in stories that were never yours, and come back into your heart, because that's how you increase your capacity to hold both your wounded ego and your God-given throne, your soul, right? You want to hold space for both, because we're here for a human experience. We're not here just to be divine. We're not just here to be like victims and be a human. We're here to experience both. So we're here to expand our capacity for both, and we do this through unconditional love, right? Unconditional love, unconditional love, unconditional love, because that's how you create safety for yourself. It's no one else's responsibility to create this space for you, it's your own. So you want to hold space for this. And then from here, it becomes easier to actually listen to your intuition. It becomes easier to listen to your higher self, and it's easier to control your mind, because you went directly to the source, you saw what's not true, and then you deepened your roots into the actual truth. And you're bringing, now you're sourcing from the overflowing well, right? And now you're reaching into the branches of being desirable, already being good enough, without external validation, without other people showing up the way you want to, because you're sourcing it within. But now because you've upgraded your energetic boundaries, you force people to only meet you on a higher plane, because all these branches, they're dead now. So even if they come there, they can't, you're not there. You're higher, you have better branches. And if they don't want to come up higher, that they're not going to find you there, because you are higher, right? So it's not about worrying about how other people, what you do when other people show up. It's a matter of you just choosing to go where you need to be within yourself, so that you can actually become the version of you that experiences on a default. And this is all about, it's a spiritual practice, it's a way of being, it's a way of you continuously refine yourself, like trees are always refining themselves. They break away branches and they make new branches, right? They break away barks and make new barks, like it's always refinement. Nature is always refining itself. So it's it's not about seeing yourself as not being enough and not being good enough for you being here. It's all about, why am I here? What's the gift of being here? What is the perception I need to lock into for me to be where my soul needs to be? And when you're in the center, it becomes easier for you to know when to come into your gut, into your intuition, and when to come back into your rational mind, because it's constant flow. It's from your heart to your mind, heart, mind, right? There's always energy being transferred, but you won't find the gift of that. You won't access that gift if you're accessing your power outside of you. You got to come back, reinvest all that energy you externalized, pivot it back within yourself. And this is what I help you in my private spaces, to help you um, take back all that time you lost in time, giving away your power, because there's always a gift in all that time and energy invested in the past. There's a gift, there's a gift, there's a gift. There's no thing as wasted time and energy in my world. It's a win-win. Everything happened exactly as it was supposed to be. It happened exactly as it was supposed to be, right? So if this video helped you, and if you have more information you want me to clarify, anything, I love responding to y'all. Let me know and I can make a video for you. Otherwise, see you on the other side.